I live alone in a quiet little house in Michigan. It's one of those places where you think nothing ever happens. I work late most nights, so a few months ago I installed a smart security camera in my living room, just for peace of mind. It's supposed to detect motion and start recording, sending an alert to my phone. A simple, effective system, or so I thought. Last Tuesday, everything changed. I was at my desk, finishing up a report around 9 p.m. when my phone buzzed. A notification from the security app, living room motion detected, recording. I found it a little strange since no one else has a key, and I hadn't ordered anything that would be delivered so late. I tapped on the notification to watch the live feed. My heart started to beat a little faster. The living room was empty. The lamp by the couch was on, just as I'd left it. The windows were dark. Nothing seemed out of place. I watched for a full minute, expecting to see a mouse scurry across the floor or maybe a moth fluttering in front of the lens, but there was nothing. The app must have glitched, I thought. False alarm. I was about to close the app when something on the screen made my blood run cold. The camera, it moved. It wasn't a sudden jerk like it was malfunctioning. It was a slow, deliberate pan to the left, as if someone was gently adjusting the angle to get a better view of the hallway. I held my breath, my eyes glued to the screen. The camera stopped, perfectly framing the empty hallway leading to my bedroom. I have the camera set on a fixed bookshelf. It can't move on its own. It doesn't have a motor to pan or tilt. The only way it could move is if someone physically touched it. I told myself it must be a technical issue. Maybe a software update caused it to recalibrate. It had to be. I watched the live feed for another 10 minutes, but nothing happened. The camera remained fixed on the hallway. My unease grew, but I forced myself to rationalize it. I had a long drive home, and I couldn't afford to be spooked by a faulty piece of tech. I finally got home around 11:30. The moment I walked through the door, a wave of cold air hit me. It felt like the air conditioner was blasting, but I knew I'd turned it off before leaving that morning. The house was dead silent. I called out, "Hello," just in case, but only my own voice echoed back. The first thing I did was check the security camera. It was right where I'd left it on the bookshelf, but it was now angled slightly towards the hallway, just like I'd seen on my phone. My hand started to tremble. I picked it up, examined it. There were no signs of tampering. It was just pointed in a different direction. I forced a laugh, trying to brush off the feeling of being watched. I unplugged the camera, set it back on the shelf facing the front door, and decided I'd deal with it in the morning. I was just tired, I told myself. My mind was playing tricks on me. I went through my nightly routine, brushed my teeth, changed my clothes, and collapsed into bed, completely exhausted. I fell asleep almost instantly. At what felt like the middle of the night, my phone, which I'd left charging on my nightstand, buzzed again, and again, and again. A string of notifications lighting up the dark room. Annoyed, I grabbed it, my eyes blurry with sleep. My heart sank. There were dozens of alerts from the security app, all time-stamped within minutes of each other. Living room motion detected. I must have forgotten to unplug it, or maybe I plugged it back in without thinking. My thumb hovered over the app icon. Part of me screamed not to open it, just ignore it until morning. But I couldn't. I had to know. I opened the app and tapped on the most recent alert. The timestamp read 3:11 a.m. The video clip loaded. The quality was grainy in the low light, but the image was unmistakable. It was a view of my living room, just as I'd left it. And standing right in the middle of the room was me. I was standing there, perfectly still, facing the camera. I felt a surge of confusion. This was impossible. I was in my bed. Right. I pinched my arm hard. I was awake. I was in my bedroom, but on the screen I was in my living room. The figure looked exactly like me, down to the last detail. It was wearing the same faded t-shirt and sweatpants I'd put on before bed. It had my messy hair, my height, my build. It was a perfect copy. It just stood there, motionless, for about 10 seconds. Then it tilted its head. A slow, unnatural movement, like a puppet. A wide ear to a smile spread across its face. And that's when I knew the smile was wrong. It was too wide, too sharp. My face can't make that expression. The eyes were dark and empty, reflecting the small red recording light of the camera. It wasn't human. I couldn't breathe. My entire body was frozen in terror. What was that thing in my house? And why did it look exactly like me? My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. A doctored video, a hacker, but that didn't explain the camera moving earlier, or the cold air in the house. The video on my phone continued. The thing that looked like me took a step forward, then another, moving with a strange, gliding motion, its feet not seeming to touch the floor. It stopped just inches from the camera lens, its horrifying smile filling the entire screen. The video was silent up to this point, but then, the audio crackled to life. A faint, raspy whisper slithered out of my phone's speaker. It was a single, chilling sentence. He's ready. My blood turned to ice. Ready for what? Who was it talking to? As the whisper faded, the thing on the screen slowly raised a hand and pointed, not at the camera, but past it, towards something out of frame. It held the pose for a moment, that terrible smile never faltering. Then the video clip ended. I sat there in my bed, paralyzed, clutching my phone. My house was completely silent again, but the silence was now heavy, threatening. I was too scared to move, too scared to even breathe too loudly. I knew it was still out there, in my living room, or maybe it was closer, maybe it was in the hallway. And then, something happened that made my world completely shatter. In the darkness of my bedroom, a tiny red light blinked on. It was coming from the corner of the room, from the top of my wardrobe. It was the indicator light of my webcam, the one on my old, unused laptop that I hadn't opened in months. It was on, it was recording. The soft red glow felt like a predator's eye staring at me in the dark. It had been watching me this whole time, watching me watch the video, knowing I knew. I felt a presence in the room with me, a coldness that had nothing to do with the temperature. The whisper from the video echoed in my head. He's ready. I heard a soft creak from the floorboards just outside my bedroom door. It's coming. I'm still sitting here, staring at that red light. I haven't turned around. I don't dare to. I don't know what I'll see when I do.